Senator Allen.
Okay, so so we've discussed, Senator, a little bit about the possibility of, first of all, it does seem, I mean, clear we don't have an index. I mean, it's a set amount, and so that's a problem that needs to be addressed. But, you and I discussed the possibility of, perhaps instead doubling the current exemption to $300,000 and then indexing it to an index that would, could be determined by HCD. So there would be, I think this would significantly help your passage up, possibilities too. So that, we would be covering people, understanding how much housing costs have increased, and we'd be covering people in a more modest situation, and then also accounting for housing cost increases. And by the way, I think it would be important to not do it to CPI, because as we know, housing costs have increased at a faster rate than general inflation. But I'd love to kind of hear your thoughts on that, and your thoughts on working on that moving forward.
Senator Allen, I certainly understand the direction you're going on. What I'd like to do is get a commitment on my part to work with you. I think it would be better to be looking at what the average home value is. And I think we know a large concentration of veterans in both San Diego and Orange County in my district, and certainly throughout the state. That's the average value of a home that we're paying taxes on. Would seem to me that would be the amount that we should be targeting in terms of an exemption. Moving up to that, if not the full exemption, which the bill asks for. But if we could have some more discussion on that, and then it certainly can be amended as it makes its way to appropriations, where that will be the whole focus of that discussion will be on what the impact to the state is. Because I don't think there's any question in terms of rewarding our veterans. I'm sure in all of our hearts and minds that's the heart of this, but
Right.
To what degree can we do that, and is it fair to all? So looking at what is fair, to me, if we have an average of $460,000 for a home in California, that ought to be the base. And would rather go that direction than just, pick 300,000 is kind of arbitrary. It's kind of why. But this number is more specific and gets us to, I think, what is a fair amount, and it is an average. And certainly in Orange County, and perhaps I'm not sure in Riverside where Senator Roth is, but we know in San Diego and Orange County highest values. And we have to look at this. I was saying a greater context is we know that there's a huge issue in our veterans population with homelessness, and we are hoping that some of these costs here in California don't drive that also. So providing some relief, I think that certainly should be in the context of the discussion. And to me, moving in that direction and I want to discuss it with you, Senator Allen, before we do an amendment.
Yeah,
and we can do that certainly, and you have my commitment to that before we move it to the next level.
I really appreciate that, Senator. That certainly makes me feel more comfortable, supporting it today. I think we all agree that that the core spirit of this bill is very admirable and very good. We all also could think of some extreme examples of folks that really would be out of the kind of the sort of purview of that you're suggesting, that really ought not be included in a situation in a bill like this. So let's work together on it, and I appreciate you bringing it forward.
Great.
Senator Roth.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In fact, some of us were unsuccessful in trying to force a more regionalized approach in some stuff we did earlier this year. Maybe this is one area where we ought to take a regional look at this and have a higher threshold. The coastal areas and highly urbanized areas, and perhaps a lower threshold in some of the inland areas where the property values have not, unfortunately, not moved as fast as they have elsewhere, and have some differentiation.
We should take that under consideration when we look at an amendment.
Right, to account for the property values in Orange County, for example, in Irvine and Newport Beach and Santa Monica and Santa Barbara, as opposed to the property values in Fresno or in Moreno Valley or even in the city of Riverside. That would be my suggestion.
So So I appreciate it. I just, if there's, I wouldn't want to support something that would literally give no tax liability at all to someone with a $40 million house. I mean, someone worth hundreds of millions of dollars. I just think that would be inappropriate. Sorry?
Yes, certainly.
There are so few. I mean, I can't even imagine. We're talking the most number. I gave you the high number.
I totally agree with you.
700. That, and if you exempt, and the median home value, if I can make a correction, the median home value in the state of California from the California Association of Realtors is $548,000. So, and here's what happened with the bill, or the current legislature, the current law. Back 20 years ago, it was decided that the exemption was going to be $100,000 for service-connected veterans, 100% service-connected veterans. And today, that is only $120,000, $127,000 in my county. So the inflation or the cost of a house has gone up almost 5 times what the exemption was. And so we'll be back 20 years from now talking about the same thing if it's not indexed correctly. So if you do it by the cost of the home's inflation rate rather than the CPI, it would make more sense. And I totally agree that, a $40 million house, but find one. I know of one that lived in La Jolla on the cliffs because he owned a shipbuilding company that would have qualified for this bill.
So from my perspective, all the reason to have a cap, it really won't hurt anybody, but what it would do is prevent these sort of totally outrageous stories. So I can't disagree with a single thing you said.
Thank you. I'm sorry to go on.
No, you were very helpful in clarifying, and Senator Roth and Senator Allen have focused on something, and that gives some fruit for continued work. And I know Senator Bates will work with them both. And that gives you some opportunities for approaching Appropriations Committee and being favorably received. Okay. All right. Would you like to close, Senator Bates?
Like your I vote.
All right. We have a motion. Secretary will call the roll.
Senate Bill 1183 do pass, but first we refer to Governance and Finance. Nielsen?
Aye.
Nielsen, aye. Waso? Allen?
Aye.
Allen, aye. Wynn? Wynn, aye. Roth?
Aye.
Roth, aye.
Very good. And Senator Bates, you have 1458.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, SB 1458 is sponsored by Board of Equalization member George Renner, a former senator, George Renner, and seeks to make California law consistent with federal law so that any veteran receiving service-connected disability benefits at 100% will be eligible to receive the state's disabled veterans property tax exemption on their home. There are currently 5 different types of discharges from active duty that veterans receive. There's honorable, general, other than honorable conditions, dishonorable, and bad conduct. Recent amendments clarify that eligibility is not only for those veterans discharged under other than dishonorable conditions, but they must also be eligible for the federal veterans' health and medical benefits as determined by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs. In other words, it's discretionary on their part as to whether they will grant those benefits to someone who was, in fact, discharged under the category of other than dishonorable conditions. Upon receiving their DD Form 214, 100% disabled veterans can apply for their earned benefits depending on the condition to which they left active duty. The problem with the current statute in California is that only veterans who receive an honorable discharge may qualify for the disabled veterans property tax exemption, whereas federal statute allows these same veterans to receive benefits if they are discharged under honorable, general, or other than honorable conditions. SB 1458 is intended to fix this problem and gives 100% disabled veterans access to a tax benefit they deserve. The bill necessarily helps California veterans returning from war receive a merited property tax exemption as long as they meet the appropriate discharge eligibility from service. The measure is supported by the Board of Equalization, the American GI Forum of California, American Legion, Department of California, AMVETS, Department of California, California Association of County Veteran Service Officers, the California State Commanders Veterans Council, Military Officers Association of America, California Council of Chapters, and the Vietnam Veterans California State Council. I have Tanya Vendrick with me here today representing the Board of Equalization, member George Renner, and she can answer any specific questions you may have.
Thank you. My name is Tanya Vanderick. I'm here on behalf of George Renner from the Board of Equalization. As Senator Bates pointed out, the purpose of SB 1458 is simply to give 100% disabled veterans who were not dishonorably discharged from military service access to the state's property tax exemption. While the number of veterans who will qualify under the bill would be minimal, the legislation is necessary to give veterans who were discharged under a less than dishonorable condition, but receiving federal benefits, access to a benefit offered to them by a grateful state. With me is Rosemary Kinney, legislative analyst with the board's Legislative and Research Division, to answer any technical questions.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
And thank Senator Runner for his assistance here today.
Thank you.
And it is moved by Senator Roth. And do we have any other witnesses in support?
Mr. Chairman, members, Pete Conity representing various veterans organizations. You know, it's in artful terms that sometimes throw people. We have honorable discharges, we have dishonorable discharges, but in the middle we have this gray area called less than dishonorable, which is difficult to understand. But oftentimes these are people who served honorably, but maybe because of one thing or LGBT is an example that are given federal benefits by the federal government, and the state should do no less. Thank you.
Don Harper with American Legion. We support this bill. Thank you.
Lorna Grease, Military Officers Association. We support this bill.
Lorraine Ploss, AMVETS, we support this bill.
Very good. Do we have anyone who is in opposition to the bill? And I gather this is kind of a gray area and one that sort of people don't want to talk about. Am I correct out there? It's a difficult area. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they are forever sullied or condemned, and that since they are entitled to federal benefit, that there's a justification here. Do we have any questions or comments, Senator Roth?
Well, just a comment, Mr. Chair. This other than dishonorable conditions sort of tripped me up for a while because it's not a term in the military that we use. It's apparently a U.S. DVA term that they use when they do their analysis. And I want to commend staff on the analysis because your analysis was very, very good in terms of straightening me out and causing me to understand what the term meant. So I'll be supporting the bill.
Well, nobody more knowledgeable than Senator Roth in this area. So may I take that then, Senator Roth, as a motion?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. We have a motion, and would the Secretary please call the roll?
Senate Bill 1458, do pass, but first we refer to Governance and Finance. Nielsen?
Aye.
Nielsen, aye. Waso? Allen? Wynn? Roth?
Aye.
Roth, aye.
Nielsen, aye. Okay, thank you.
Thank
Senator.
you.
Bill will hold the roll,
It goes to local government and finance. I'm sorry, I thought appropriate.
and we will.
We have
we will-
another stop.
We're going to hold the roll on all bills and make sure that all members get on the roll. Senator Hueso? Yeah, yeah, let's do that. Let's lift the calls now if we have Senator Hueso here and we can get him on the roll. Senator Hueso, we're going to lift the call. Calls plural.
Give me a second here.
Please.
Catch my breath.
Any word on the next series of
Sergeant, have we got other authors coming?
Senator Money's on questions.
Morning?
He'll
On
get-
questions.
He's on questions. And Senator Jackson is sharing Judish. She wants to go last. So.
That may be problematic then, if she's sharing the dish.
and Manning's in trans.
Questions.
Okay. Secretary, will you then go over we'll lift the calls on the outstanding items that are on call for Senator Hueso.
Okay, consent calendar first. Senate Bill 1227 and Senate Resolution 669. Waso?
Aye.
So aye. That passes out. And Senate Bill 866. Waso?
866, aye.
Allen? Wait. Did we already do this one? Wynn? Okay. And Senate Bill 980, Waso?
Aye.
So aye, Allen. Wynn? Senate Bill 1155, Waso?
Aye.
Waso, aye. Senate Bill 1183, Waso?
Aye.
Waso, aye. Wait, one more. Senate Bill 1458, Waso?
Aye.
Waso, aye. Allen? Wynn? Does pass out.
Well,
We haven't done 1059.
Still 1180 and 1059 we haven't done.
members, I'm happy to stay here and wait if you need to do something, and we could summons you back when we get other members.
Very well.
I don't want to inconvenience you too long.
I've got the same place to go you use.
Okay. Yeah, we do. Senator Jackson, we've a quorum in and out, so we would like to go ahead and proceed if you can with your bill.
Happy to do it. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and member. Last year, I authored a bill to provide additional transitional sick leave to disabled veterans just entering the state workforce. That bill, the California Wounded Warriors Transitional Leave Act, went through this committee, received bipartisan support, and was ultimately signed into law by the governor. It has been very well received, and I am pleased that it is now in the books and that it is assisting our veterans as they enter state service so that they can be assured they'll be able to continue their employment while getting the kind of treatment that they need as they resolve whatever issues continue as a result of their service. This year, I'm back with a very similar measure for our public school employees. SB 1180 will provide additional upfront sick leave to disabled veterans who have just started working in our public schools. It would provide up to 12 days of additional sick leave for new classified employees who work 12 months out of the year. And classified employees, as we know, do the important work in our schools, providing security, food services, office and clerical work, maintenance, and other jobs related to maintaining the school environment. This bill would provide up to 10 additional days of sick leave for credentialed employees who are disabled veterans and who work 10 months out of the year. That would include teachers, counselors, psychologists, speech therapists, and the like. Those disabled vets who work part-time would receive an amount of sick leave proportionate to their work schedules. The purpose of this bill is to give new employees extra time in their first year to attend medical and VA appointments related to their disability without having to use up their regular allotment of sick leave or take unpaid leave. We want these folks working, and we want these folks healing. And that is the basic nature and intent of this bill. We know that many veterans are returning from war zones from Iraq and Afghanistan with physical and mental health issues that require additional medical attention. In fact, many veterans who have served in Iraq and Afghanistan have faced multiple deployments and have returned with injuries that would have been fatal in prior wars. There are some limits on this bill that I'd like to bring to your attention. The bill will apply only to employees who are hired on or after January 1, 2017, and who are 30% or more disabled. It will also only allow that sick leave can be used in the first year of employment, and after that, what is not used is forfeited and disappears. And of course, the point is to get these vets into the treatment they need as quickly as possible so that they will be able to continue in their employment and also resolve whatever are the nature of their deployment-based and related, service-related injuries. It's intended as a transitional benefit, not one in perpetuity, as many of the vets transition from military service to civilian service to a new job in our schools. These new employees often face limits on the amount of sick leave they can take in their first few months on the job when they need that additional time for that additional assistance. This bill will serve our schools because it will encourage these employees to pursue the medical care they need. It will help our veterans by giving them the time they need to care for their disabilities and navigate an often challenging VA system. They've served us, and I believe this is the least we can do in return. I ask for your aye vote.
Your witnesses in support?
Mr. Chairman and members, I'm Dolores Duran Flores, and I represent the California School Employees Association. We're in support of this very important veterans bill. Veterans have clearly put their lives on the line for our country, for our state, and for all of us. Sometimes they come home with service-related injuries. We need to do everything we can to help them get the treatment they need. Senate Bill 1180 recognizes that many veterans turn to our schools for employment and work as classified employees and teachers. CSEA represents many veterans. In fact, one of our past president is a veteran. During the first year of employment, classified employees don't have access to much sick leave, and they haven't accumulated any. This bill will provide classified employees with 12 days of sick leave to care for their service-related injury. We think it's a reasonable bill. It has reasonable limits on it. And on behalf of all of the veterans that CSEA represents, we want to thank the author for carrying this bill and for recognizing the service that they have provided and the injuries they suffer. We ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. Okay. And do we have additional witnesses?
Lorna Grease, Military Officers Association, Council of Chapters here in California. We support your bill.
Lorraine Ploss, American Veterans State Legislative Chair. We support your bill.
Again, Don Harper with American Legion. We support this bill. Thank you.
Pete Conatee, representing the representing the American GI Forum, the VFW, California State Commanders Veterans Council, Vietnam Veterans American, the California Association of County Veterans Service Officers. We supported Senator Jackson's previous bill, and we certainly support this bill. We would love to see more veterans involved in our public school system. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Conity. Senator Jackson, a quick question. Your former bill had certain conditions that limited the sick leave to medical treatment. I trust as this deals with the same issue.
It does.
And based on what you said a little bit ago, that's there's no carryover because this is limited to 12 months. It said it be so there's not a carryover. The former bill permitted the employing agencies to require a submission of satisfactory proof. Does this do the same thing? So all those
I believe, yeah, those are, it follows
Parallel.
basically the same guidelines.
Okay. Senator Roth, any questions or
Well,
comments?
just a couple. I mean, actually, the sick leave is designed to provide time off to secure treatment for the disabilities
Correct.
itself that enable the veteran to qualify for the leave.
Yes.
And then, as with sick leave in other contexts, I assume that if the veteran terminates his or her employment during the first year, the unused portion of the leave would not be paid?
That's correct. This is designed specifically to get additional treatment, or necessary treatment, I should say, as required due to their disability. And I anticipate most of this will be through programs that have been directed by the VA or through appropriate agencies to focus on the disability and the concerns that we have about the well-being of that individual as they transition back into civilian life.
An excellent bill, Mr. Chair. I move it.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the author's sensitivity. Sometimes the classified are forgotten as the credentialed are taken care of. So thank you for being sensitive, Senator. Anyone in the audience in support addition to come forward? And did we have any opposition? I didn't think so. I saw none out there. All right. We have a motion. Secretary, call the roll.
Senate Bill 1180 do pass, but first we refer to education. Nielsen?
Aye.
Nielsen, aye. Waso? Allen? Wynn? Roth? Aye. Roth, aye.
Senator Jackson, we have folks variously disposed, but we'll round them up and get them all on the roll.
Some of them are in my committee right now, so
Yes,
I'm going
they
to go
are.
back
Thank
there.
you.
Thank you.
Senator Monning, welcome, sir. Senator Monning, SB 1059.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and member. Thank you for the opportunity to present Senate Bill 1059, which will correct an oversight in recent legislation that will block some veterans in California from utilizing their GI Bill benefits to receive a legal education. Assembly Bill 2099, authored by Assemblymember Frazier in 2014, restructured the criteria that determines which degree-granting institutions are eligible to accept Title 38 veteran benefits. The legislation inadvertently removed eligibility for law schools that are accredited by the California State Bar's Committee of Bar Examiners. These 19 State Bar accredited law schools are almost exclusively four-year nighttime programs that serve a non-traditional student population. These schools are typically more affordable than larger ABA law schools and offer an educational format that is often the only option for students with families professional students, or those seeking a career change. Bar-accredited law schools must maintain a specified bar passage rate and are approved only through an extensive accrediting process modeled after ABA accreditation and comparable to that of regional accreditors like WASC. The loss of Title 38 eligibility under AB 2099 will effectively block access to veterans seeking a legal education at one of these accredited institutions, many of which are the only source of legal education in some regions of the state. Cal Northern Law School, based in Chico, for example, is the only option for attaining an accredited legal education from Sacramento to the Oregon border. Veterans who live in rural areas, which already suffer from a lack of legal services, will now be forced to uproot their lives and families to find a law school that will accept their Title 38 benefits. Senate Bill 1059 provides a simple fix to this injustice by reestablishing the Title 38 eligibility that bar-accredited law schools have maintained for decades. In this measure's first committee hearing, staff with the Senate Committee on Business and Professions recommended that the bill include additional criteria that further demonstrate the program quality of bar-accredited schools. I've agreed with this recommendation, and I've pledged to work with this committee and the Committee on Business and Professions to amend those quality assurances into the bill in the Appropriations Committee. I ask that you join me in ensuring all veterans have the ability to access a legal education with the benefits they've earned, and vote aye on SB 1059. And Mr. Chair, I'd like, with your permission, to present witnesses in support. I have with me this afternoon Mitch Winnick, the Dean of the Monterey College of Law in my district, along with Jim Chiavenza, President of the Association of California Accredited Law Schools, and the Dean of Lincoln Law School, based here in Sacramento. And I think we have some other friends in support as well.
Mr. Winnick.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Monning. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Member. I would just like to say that it's one of the best things we get to do as a law school in our district is serve our veterans who seek out a legal education. The Central Coast has long been the home of many veterans and their dependents, and they've sought out a legal education in our school. We've been able to provide that. AB 2099 did a very good thing in protecting veterans from unscrupulous institutions that were preying on veterans. Unfortunately, they overlooked our accrediting institution, which is the State Bar of California, when they crafted that legislation in 2099. And we appreciate that Senator Monning's helping us reestablish our accreditor as one of those that are recognized. We estimate there's about 200 veterans each year that are served by the California accredited law schools. And as Senator Monning said, many of those are in districts that if they wanted to pursue a legal education with their earned GI benefits, they would actually have to pack up and take their family and move to other parts of California or out of California to use the benefits they've earned. We think that would be a terrible injustice. We've served our veterans for over 40 years in our location, and we would like to continue to do that for many, many more. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairperson, James Chiavenza on behalf of the California Accredited Law School Deans and also on behalf of Lincoln Law School of Sacramento. I echo what Dean Winnick said, and I want to personalize the efforts of Senator Monning in putting this bill before this committee. I interviewed a woman for a position at our school as part of the accreditation process the week before last. 3.8 grade point average, high LSAT score, 33 years old, lives and works in Sacramento, would be Title 38 eligible if not for AB 2099. This bill will cure that problem. She will be eligible for veterans benefits at our school. And I think that should be what the goal for all of us to do, is allow reasonable benefits for our veterans at the California Accredited Law Schools. And on behalf of the California Accredited Law School Deans and Lincoln Law School of Sacramento, I ask for your support on this bill.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, members, Pete Conatee, representing the American GI Forum, VFW, California State Commanders, Veterans Council, Vietnam Veterans of America, and the California Association of County Veteran Service Officers. And we're in strong support of this bill. We have followed the for-profit school saga for the last 5 years, and it's unfortunate this happens, and we need to fix it as soon as possible. Thank you.
Any additional support in the audience?
And that's Department of California, we support.
Lorna Grease, Military Officers Association, we support also.
Don Harper with the American Legion. We support this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, do we have any opposition? Senator Roth has moved the bill. Senator Monning, do you wish to close?
Just respectfully would urge your aye vote. Thank you for your consideration.
I didn't ask any other questions or comments, any members.
Move the bill at the appropriate time.
Okay, it is moved, and Senator Roth already moved it. We will call the roll.
Senate Bill 1059 do pass, but first we refer to appropriations. Nielsen?
Aye?
Nielsen, aye. Hueso?
Aye.
Hueso, aye. Allen? Allen, aye. Wynn? And Roth?
Aye.
Roth, aye.
All right, thank you, Mr. Monning.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, members.
Let's lift the call. We've got some members back.
You are on all. So, they're not paying attention. Should I wait?
We're gonna lift the call. We've got, I think Senator Hueso's on the roll, but Senator Allen, you might have missed one or two, I think.
Yeah, I've got three. Senate Bill 1180, Hueso?
Aye.
Hueso, aye. Allen?
Aye.
Allen, aye. Wynn? I'm sorry, what was it? And Senate Bill 1458, Allen?
Aye.
Allen, aye. Wynn? And last one, Senate Bill 980, Allen?
Aye.
Allen, aye. Wynn?
Okay, we're waiting for Senators Lara and Glazer.
Yeah. And Wynn's not coming back.
Okay? So we'll stand by. Oh, okay, that's right. Okay, that takes care of it then.
We're done. Yeah.
That's right, those are the consent items.
I wasn't here.